If you watch my channel at all, chances are that you're at least mildly familiar with Command & Conquer Rivals. After all, it was Rivals that started me on content creation in the first place. And as much as I absolutely adore Rivals, sometimes I want something, more, something scaled up, like the original Command & Conquer games, or StarCraft, or Total Annihilation. This search for a full-blown mobile real-time strategy game took me first to Ironhide Studios' Iron Marines, and you can watch my review on that marvellous game here. But what if you want something that little bit more traditional, more like the classics? Well, let's take a look then at Rusted Warfare. Now, many moons ago, I was doing my usual boredom browse of the Google Play Store when I stumbled upon a little game called Rusted Warfare, made by Corroding Games, or rather, I stumbled across the free demo of it. Rusted Warfare promised a full real-time strategy package on mobile, with crossplay with Linux, Windows and Android. To top it all off, the full game was only a mind-numbingly small £2, so I thought, why not? Rusted Warfare, however, does not do first impressions. If I'm being polite, the graphics are dated and not in that charming retro-inspired indie game kind of way. If I'm being less kind, I would call it basic and uninspiring. Graphically, Rusted Warfare looks like it was drawn in a few afternoons with Microsoft Paint, and to be fair, it very well may have been, as Corroding Games' website lists only the one developer, and I suppose this does lend a very clean and simplistic look. Everything is pretty recognisable quickly, and there's no worrying about particle effects and complex lighting to blow apart older devices' RAM. Looking at it, you could probably get Rusted Warfare to run on your toaster. But this does leave me wanting for something just that little bit more polished, that little bit more refined. The user interface especially feels weirdly reminiscent of late 90s GeoCities websites, and if you understand what I'm trying to get at there, then we're both getting old. Like the rest of the graphical package, it's basic. It's like Windows 98, back when everything was simple colours, square edges, function over form. And to be fair to Corroding Games, basic as the graphics are, they do the job of conveying what you need to know. Additionally, Rusted Warfare explains every unit and building very clearly with its tooltips, which is always very useful in the heat of battle. Enemy forces are colour-coded. You can clearly see what's water, or what's lava, or what's land. The buildings and units may be a little bit blocky and they may be lacking in intricate detail, but you can quickly differentiate tanks from mechs, from aircraft, and ultimately, I guess that's what matters. Graphics aren't everything, they're just a way to convey information. So what about the gameplay? Well, this is where Rusted Warfare truly shines. The gameplay is built for touch, with simple pinch, tap and swipe gestures being used to build, select and command units. You have 3 groups that you can set to quickly select portions of your army, and build queues are fortunately a thing here too. Base building is a large part of the experience, and you use builder units akin to StarCraft Terran SCVs to construct your buildings. Extractors and fabricators are what you use to generate your income in the form of credits, the sole resource used in Rusted Warfare. Extractors have to be built on resource pools, and whilst fabricators don't have this restriction, they do generate credits significantly slower than the extractors do. Tech trees are very simple here too. A ground factory builds basic ground vehicles, and if you upgrade the factory to tier 2, it can build the more expensive and advanced ground vehicles. Air factories build aircraft, sea factories build ships and submarines, and mech factories, you guessed it, build walking mechs. Infantry don't exist in the world of Rusted Warfare, unfortunately, so don't go looking for a barracks. Now, beyond this, you can also build various turrets, each with different upgrade paths. Laser shields to defend your base, and repair bays to, well, repair units and nearby buildings. Finally, there's the experimental factory and nuclear silo for endgame punch. Simplistic is definitely the name of the game here, and Rusted Warfare distills itself right down in order to laser focus the gameplay. Micromanaging your units is key here, as is cleverly scouting and countering your opponent's defences. Speaking of opponents, Rusted Warfare has a plethora of single-player modes to keep you occupied. Missions, skirmish maps, challenge missions to test your mettle, an endless survival where you pit yourself against wave after wave of ever-increasing opposition, like some retelling of Helm's Deep. There's a surprisingly deep sandbox editor here too, where you can design your own maps, scenarios and mods, and of course the ability to load these to your own device. The AI isn't terrible either and can be played at different settings that ramp up monstrously. Impossible isn't joking. This is already a fairly mountainous volume of content, but Rusted Warfare also has a surprisingly lively and dedicated community playing its multiplayer. I had no issue at all setting up or joining multiplayer matches, though I did get utterly destroyed in all the ones I played. Clearly some of these folks have been playing for quite some time. There's no matchmaking, just simple lobby functionality. Jump in, play a game. That said, you can also set up a simple connection to your friends to play a match over a lunch break, so it really is up to you how you choose to play here, and astonishingly, Rusted Warfare comes with built-in functionality for recording replays for future use too. Considering that this game appears to be a one-man passion project, Rusted Warfare comes with a terrifying amount of content and scope packed into it under a tiny price tag. It's a shame that it's delivered in such an uninspiring and bland-looking package, but again, I suppose this does allow it to run much smoother on older devices. All in all, Rusted Warfare has come to fill a spot for me on my phone. When I tire of climbing the ladder in Rivals and I want to relive the experience of one of the classic CNC games, I can load up Rusted Warfare and either jump into a match against the computer or set myself up to be obliterated by a real player who is significantly better than me. It's just as I remember Tiberian Sun's multiplayer. Give this one a download. For the minuscule price tag, you really can't go wrong with it. Don't expect frequent massive updates, as the most recent was May 2019, but the game is still apparently being developed and is absolutely solid as it is. If you can look past that bland exterior, you will find a vibrant and thriving real-time strategy game, built in the shadow of the classics. If you do try it out, let me know in the comments section below how you get on. If you're playing Rusted Warfare already, come join the Gaming Galleon Discord. I will be setting up a channel for anyone who wants to set up multiplayer lobbies with each other. Thanks for watching, folks, happy sailing, and see you on the battlefield.